right now, somewhere out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there is a massive cargo ship just cutting through the
Yeah,
waves.
one of those absolute behemoths.
Exactly. And it is carrying literally thousands of those huge steel shipping containers.
Right.
And tucked inside one of those containers, just sitting there, is $1 million intended for a terrorist cell.
Which sounds like the plot of an action movie.
It totally does. But here is the crazy part. That money is not like hidden away in some secret welded compartment.
Right.
And it isn't stuffed into a black leather briefcase like you see in the movies. It is hiding in plain sight. It is sitting right there in the price tag of a commercial washing machine.
It really is wild when you think about it.
It is. And welcome to today's deep dive. Because our mission today is to unpack this hidden, really high-stakes battleground of global finance.
Yes, specifically looking at how everyday professionals are basically being trained to catch these financial criminals who are operating right under our noses.
Exactly. And we are using a really fascinating roadmap to guide us today. We are looking at the official course details and the syllabus for the ICA Specialist Certificate in Trade-Based Money Laundering.
Right, the Level 2 Specialist Certification.
Mhm.
And it is a remarkable document. It outlines this professional certification awarded in association with Alliance Manchester Business School at the University of Manchester.
Yeah.
And I know, a syllabus might sound like sort of an unusual place to start a discussion on global security,
Mhm.
but understanding the material that this course actually covers is absolutely crucial for you, the listener.
Right, because you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't work in a bank's compliance department,
Exact.
and I certainly don't work in international trade finance, so why should I care about this?
You should care because we are talking about mind-boggling amounts of illicit money moving through the global marketplace.
Yeah.
And it is completely undetected by the average person. I mean, if you want to grasp modern geopolitics, or even if you simply want to understand how international trade actually functions on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
you have to understand how these massive systems can be exploited.
It's everywhere.
It is. This is really about seeing the hidden architecture of the world around you.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to really understand the value of a course that teaches professionals how to fight financial crime, I feel like we first have to understand the crime itself.
That makes sense. You have to know the threat.
Right. And the source material refers to this stuff as money laundering typologies, and it explicitly highlights a specific tactic. It calls it variable pricing in goods.
Yes, that's a huge one.
Now, I read that phrase, and I understand the individual words, but I really need you to break down the actual mechanism here. How does an overpriced washing machine actually put clean money into a terrorist's hands? I mean, is this basically like manipulating the price tags on everyday legitimate international shipments so the illicit money being moved just looks like a boring business transaction on paper?
What's fascinating here is the sheer audacity of the mechanism. You hit the nail on the head. Let's actually walk through a concrete scenario to make it clear.
Please do. I don't quite get the actual flow of the funds yet.
Okay, so imagine a criminal network in country A needs to send $1 million to a terrorist cell operating in country B.
Okay, country A to country B. Got it.
Now, they obviously can't just wire the money through a regular bank account.
Right, because that triggers immediate alarms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The compliance systems would flag that in a second. So the terrorist cell in country B sets up a totally legitimate-looking front company.
Right.
And let's say this front company purportedly exports commercial washing machines.
Okay, so a fake appliance company, essentially.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes, exactly. So then the criminal network in country A acts as the importer. They go ahead and place an order for, say, 50 washing machines.
Right.
Now, the standard market value for those machines, the actual real-world value, might be $50,000.
Okay, 50 grand.
But on the official invoice, the paperwork that the banks and the customs officials actually look at, they declare the value of that shipment at $1,050,000.
Oh, wow. So they just artificially inflate the price tag by a clean $1,000,000 right there on the paperwork.
Precisely. And now, here is where the money actually moves. Because in international trade, the importer's bank in country A pays the exporter's bank in country B based entirely on that invoice.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Right. The bank in country A looks at the paperwork, sees a seemingly standard invoice for washing machines, and legally transfers $1,050,000 over to the front company in country B. The washing machines physically ship, The paperwork clears customs, and suddenly that terrorist cell has $1 million of newly clean, seemingly legitimate business revenue just sitting right there in their local bank account.
That is wild. It just looks like a remarkably profitable but incredibly boring business transaction on paper.
Exactly.
There are no shady back alley deals here, no briefcases full of cash passing hands in a dark parking garage. It is literally just corporate accounting.
And that is trade-based money laundering, or TBML, in a nutshell. By artificially altering the invoices, either overpricing or underpricing standard goods, criminals can move vast sums of value across international borders.
But wait a second. I mean, millions of shipping containers move around the world every single day, right?
Oh, absolutely. The volume is astronomical.
Right, the volume of global trade is just massive. So if I am a bank, spotting that one specific washing machine container seems literally impossible.
It sounds like finding a needle in a stack of needles.
Right. Are you telling me these compliance analysts are just sitting there reading invoices all day and they somehow know the going market rate of a commercial washing machine versus like industrial copper versus a shipment of bulk soybeans?
No, absolutely not. That would be completely humanly impossible.
Okay, good. Because
No.
I was going to say, that sounds like a terrible job.
It would be.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what this course is designed to address, because the syllabus dives into training analysts not to, memorize price lists.
Okay.
It trains them to understand the actual data pipelines of international trade.
Oh, okay. So it's data-driven.
Exactly. They use complex software, historical data baselines, and these really intricate risk scoring algorithms.
Got it.
So an analyst isn't flagging the price of a washing machine from memory. They're looking at a system that alerts them when, say, a company with absolutely no history of trading electronics suddenly ships millions of dollars in microchips to a highly sanctioned, high-risk jurisdiction.
Oh, I see. So they are looking for the behavioral anomaly in the data. They aren't just checking the math on a receipt.
Precisely. It's about spotting patterns that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And the stakes for catching those anomalies are incredibly high.
Right.
I mean, this isn't just about a bank saving face or, catching a wealthy tax evader hiding money in an offshore account somewhere.
Yeah, the syllabus is pretty stark about that.
It really is. It explicitly lists what this money is funding. It covers terrorist financing, resourcing, and sanctions, as well as proliferation.
Proliferation, meaning like the proliferation of weapons.
Yes, specifically the spread of nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons
Oh,
capabilities.
wow.
We are talking about stopping the actual resources that fund existential global threats. So, identifying that a shipment of titanium tubes is priced incorrectly or is being shipped by a company with a strange financial footprint, that isn't just an accounting error.
Right, it's not a typo.
No, it could literally be the difference between a rogue state successfully building a centrifuge for a weapons program or being stopped entirely in its tracks.
Man, that fundamentally changes how you look at a cargo ship sitting in a harbor, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not just carrying consumer goods and sneakers. It could be carrying disguised capital meant to bypass international sanctions.
Exactly.
So that actually brings us to the actual people doing the fighting. Now that we know what they're looking for, who is stepping up to spot these discrepancies?
Right, the defenders on the front line.
Yeah. The course materials say the certificate is tailored for officers, analysts, specialists, auditors, and managers working in anti-money laundering, or AML.
Yes, and it also specifies professionals in KYC, which is know your customer,
Right.
and CDD, customer due diligence, as well as just general trade finance professionals. The goal, as the syllabus states, is to increase their professional agility.
Professional agility. I like that phrase. And I was reading through the source text, and there is a testimonial in there from a past learner that really stuck with me.
Oh, the one from the bank officer?
Yeah, Anil Punlik. He's a senior trade finance officer at Biblos Bank Europe. And he mentions that the course enhanced his ability to, and I'm quoting here, implement robust controls while supporting legitimate trade finance operations.
Yes, a very telling quote.
And I read that, and my immediate thought was that there is a massive inherent contradiction right there.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, the instinct is to think of these compliance officers, as the bouncers at a massive global club.
Okay, I follow you.
Like, if they want to catch the bad guys, they have to be incredibly strict. They have to check every single ID, question every single invoice.
Right.
But if the bouncer does that, if he questions everyone at the door for 20 minutes, it causes a massive traffic jam. Nobody gets into the club, and the actual party of legitimate global commerce basically grinds to a halt.
That is a very real tension.
Right. Like, is that the ultimate tightrope? Because you can't just freeze every single suspicious transaction, can you?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have hit on the central dilemma of modern global finance. But, the bouncer analogy actually falls a little bit short of how sophisticated this really has to be.
Okay, fair enough. What's a better way to look at it?
A better way to think about it is like an immune system scanning a bloodstream.
An immune system. Okay, walk me through that.
So think of the white blood cells as the compliance analysts. They are constantly circulating through this massive flowing bloodstream of global commerce.
Right.
And they're looking for proteins that shouldn't be there. They're looking for hostile elements that are actively disguised as normal, healthy cells.
Okay, the washing machines that are actually terrorist funding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the absolute golden rule of the immune system is that it cannot attack the healthy cells.
Right.
It cannot stop the flow of blood, or the host dies.
Ah, because if you stop legitimate international trade, supply chains collapse, businesses fail, and the global economy just tanks.
Precisely. And that's why the syllabus dedicates entire sections to things like managing risk and understanding international laws, regulations, and industry guidance.
So it's a balancing act.
It is. The true skill being taught here, that professional agility the course aims to develop, it isn't just the ability to stop a transaction. I mean, anyone can hit a giant red freeze button if they panic, right?
Yeah, that's the easy part.
The real expertise is understanding international trade and receivables finance so intimately that you can spot the anomaly without restricting the flow of the other 9,999 legitimate containers sailing through the system.
Okay, so it's about hyper-targeted extraction.
Exactly.
You have to know what normal looks like in incredibly granular algorithmic detail. So when a criminal network tries to move money through, say, variable pricing, the system flags that one specific infected cell, neutralizes it, and lets the rest of the bloodstream just keep moving.
Yes. And it requires a highly analytical mind, navigating incredibly complex international laws. You aren't allowed to slow down the conveyor belt of modern digital commerce to look for the threat. You literally have to spot it while it is moving at full speed.
That is intense. So how does an institution actually arm a human being with that kind of highly specialized, globally critical knowledge?
Well, the mechanics of the training itself are detailed extensively in the syllabus. Quite interesting.
Yeah, it grants 20 ICA CPLE hours, which is continuing professional development.
Right.
And you walk away with this very official-sounding designation, Spec Cert AML Trade.
Yes. And the structure of the certificate is actually designed to be highly adaptable to a working professional's life.
Which makes sense. These people are busy.
Exactly. You can complete it in as little as 4 weeks. You basically study on your own time, and you get access to the materials for up to 2 months.
Okay.
And the assessment itself is incredibly streamlined. It is a single 1-hour online multiple-choice exam that you can take at any point.
So you study for a month, you take a 1-hour online exam, you get your results immediately, you download your certificate, and boom, you are a certified financial defender.
Pretty much.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. It is not just the speed of the course. It is the sheer, staggering geographical scale of this educational effort.
Oh, absolutely. The reach is incredible.
Because if you look at the enrollment page in the source text, there is this massive A to Z drop-down list of locations to select from when you enroll.
Right.
And it starts at Afghanistan and the Island Islands. And it sweeps through everywhere, from the Cayman Islands to Vatican City, and it goes all the way down to Yemen, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
It really is comprehensive.
It even includes places like Antarctica. I mean, it is a completely borderless educational dragnet.
And that geographical scale is perhaps the most critical insight we can actually pull from this document. Because criminal networks, they do not operate within single jurisdictions.
Right, they don't care about borders.
Not at all. They act like water. They flow to the lowest point of resistance. They are actively exploiting the seams and the blind spots between different national regulations all the time.
So if I am a money launderer, I am not going to try and push my fake washing machine invoice through a highly regulated, tightly monitored bank in London or New York.
No, that would be foolish.
I'm going to look for a bank in a jurisdiction with much weaker oversight, right?
Precisely. Which brings us to the concept of the weakest link.
Okay.
The global financial system is deeply, deeply interconnected. A single transaction might originate in Asia, it might pass through a correspondent bank in Africa, and then finally settle in Europe.
Wow. Okay.
If even one link in that chain, say a mid-level bank in Zambia or a regional branch in the Cayman Islands, if they lack a trained analyst who understands trade-based money laundering, the entire global system is compromised.
Because the bad money gets in.
Exactly. The illicit funds enter the legitimate bloodstream right there at the weakest point.
That makes perfect sense. You can't have a compliance officer in London playing by a completely different baseline set of rules than an auditor in Singapore. The defense has to be as completely borderless as the offense is.
Exactly. A standardized global baseline of knowledge is just an absolute requirement nowadays. And enrolling in this course, it doesn't just grant a downloaded certificate. It integrates the learner into a massive international community.
Right, the network.
Yeah, the source text notes, there are over 30,000 members in this network globally.
30,000 white blood cells coordinating across the entire globe.
I love that analogy. And that membership provides access to a uniquely personalized ICA learning hub and, crucially, weekly webinars that cover the latest industry developments.
Weekly webinars, so it's continuous.
Yes, because passing a single one-hour exam is really not the end of the journey. The typologies of money laundering are constantly shifting. The certificate gets you in the door, but the weekly webinars in the global network, that's what keeps you armed for the actual ongoing fight.
Which actually brings us to a really fascinating aspect of all of this,
Yeah.
the business model of compliance.
Right.
Because joining this 30,000-strong global network of financial defenders requires a very tangible investment.
It's not free.
Definitely not. The financial breakdown in the syllabus is very specific. The course fees are laid out in 3 currencies. It's 730 British pounds, 803 euros, or 949 US dollars.
Right.
And if you aren't already a member, there is a mandatory 12-month membership fee added on top of that. It's about 185 pounds or 241 US dollars.
Yes, and they do mention group booking discounts are available, which makes sense for huge international banks who need to train entire departments at once.
Right. But it is a significant financial outlay, especially considering this is a level 2 specialist certificate, which is, effectively an entry or intermediate stepping stone in a much longer career path.
It absolutely is an investment.
And it doesn't stop with just the course fees. Actually, I have to drop a highly timely detail for you, the listener, based on today's date.
Oh, right.
Because today is March 24th, 2026, and right at the top of the source text, there is this countdown banner stating that the early bird rate for the ICA Future of FinCrime and Compliance Summit ends this week.
That's right.
It says you can save up to 100 pounds if you book right now. So there is this entire massive ecosystem of events and memberships and summits constantly pushing this industry forward.
Yes, it's a massive industry in itself.
So my question is, what does this all mean for you, the listener? I mean, even if you aren't personally paying these fees or flying off to a FinCrime summit in London, why does the actual cost of this course matter to the average person?
It matters because it reveals a really profound shift in how global security actually operates today.
How so?
The existence of these specific fees, the mandatory annual memberships, and these massive global events dedicated solely to the future of FinCrime, it illustrates that anti-money laundering has essentially become a privatized, multi-billion-dollar corporate arms race.
A privatized arms race. Wow, that is a heavy phrase.
But an accurate one. Look, public governments and international law enforcement agencies, they simply do not have the resources to police the sheer volume of borderless digital trade on their own.
Right, they can't possibly keep up.
No, they can't check every shipping container. They can't verify every single invoice generated around the world. So what do?
What do?
They pass laws requiring the private financial institutions to do it for them.
Ah, they mandate that the banks have to build their own immune systems.
Exactly. The investment we are looking at in this syllabus, these fees, it isn't just an individual paying for a piece of paper to boost their resume. It represents the serious, massive capital that global institutions are forced to spend to buy private shields.
Wow.
They are investing heavily to protect their operations from being inadvertently used for money laundering or terrorist financing or weapons proliferation.
Because the consequences are huge.
Oh, absolutely. Because if they fail, if they let that washing machine container slip through and the regulators catch it, the cost isn't just a missed anomaly on a spreadsheet.
Right.
The cost is literally billions of dollars in regulatory fines. It's catastrophic reputational ruin. And in severe cases, it's the loss of their actual banking license to operate globally.
Man. So paying $1,000 to train a single analyst for 4 weeks, it's essentially a corporate tax for the privilege of operating in the global economy.
That's a great way to put it.
It is an insurance policy against disaster.
Precisely. It is a vital corporate shield in a very real, very hidden war.
It really is an arms race. But instead of, missiles and tanks, the weapons are compliance certificates and data algorithms and weekly webinars on one side,
Right.
battling against forged invoices, fake front companies, and variable pricing schemes on the other. It is fascinating, but honestly, it is also a little terrifying when you realize just how much weight is resting on the shoulders of the analysts taking this exact course.
It really is. And, this raises an important question, actually, a thought to leave you with. Looking closely at the structure we have just unpacked today, we noted earlier that this course offers immediate results from a single 1-hour multiple-choice exam after just 4 weeks of study
Right.
to grant that specialist designation.
Right. It's incredibly quick, it's efficient, and it's very streamlined.
Now, consider the implications of that speed.
Okay.
If legitimate professionals can learn to spot these incredibly complex, hidden global threats, these typologies of terrorist financing and proliferation, in such a rapid-fire 4-week format, it begs a really fascinating question about the dark side of this equation.
Oh, man. I see where you're going with this.
How rapidly must the typologies of financial crime be evolving behind the scenes to necessitate such fast-paced, continuously updated upskilling?
Wow.
Think about it. If the defense can be codified into a 4-week course and assessed in an hour, it means the offense is likely mutating incredibly fast to evade it the exact moment that syllabus is published.
That's terrifying.
Are the financial criminals essentially running their own dark web specialist courses? Are they holding their own twisted underground versions of a future of FinCrime summit to ensure they stay one step ahead of these newly certified auditors?
Wow. That is a chilling thought. The idea of a mirror image industry continuously training bad actors on the new blind spots of the global supply chain.
It's very likely happening.
They're basically analyzing our immune system to figure out exactly how to mutate the virus so it gets through next time. It definitely makes you look at a simple, boring business transaction in a completely different light.
It certainly does.
The immune system of global finance is working incredibly hard, but the pathogens trying to sneak in are obviously getting remarkably creative.
Well, I want to thank you, the listener, for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden mechanics of global trade compliance. Keep asking questions, keep looking closer at the massive invisible systems running the world around you, and we'll catch you next time.